I recently went on a fat loss journey and achieved these results in 6 weeks. Here is everything that I did to achieve these results and lose my stubborn lower belly fat. I posted my fat loss transformation on TikTok and it went a little bit viral. I had so many questions on how I achieved those results. A lot of you guys on TikTok wanted a little bit more information, so I'm going to go in depth in this video and basically just say everything I did and also give detail of everything that I did personally. Now, I did have a disclaimer in my video on TikTok where I did a really quick breakdown of everything I did. In that video, I prefaced the fact that all of the things that I did were specific to me and my needs and my lifestyle and, you know, my weight, my height, everything specific to me. And that's why I didn't share any details in that video, because I think it's really important that you don't just copy and paste somebody else's routine, because it has to be specific to you and we're all different and we all have different lifestyles. Just make sure that you cater everything to yourself, or if you don't know how to do that, seek a professional. You guys did ask for the details, so I'm going to share the details of my specifics, like my calorie deficit and how many steps I was on and things like that. But again guys, like, please don't just copy exactly what I've done. It might help to give you an idea if you feel like you have a very similar body type to me and, you know, you're the same height as me, same weight as me and whatever, and you want to achieve the same results. It might give you a bit of context. That's my little disclaimer. I've been wanting to do a fat loss phase since the beginning of this year. I decided to make it just 6 weeks long, but a bit more intense because it was a short period of time. I just locked in. So I had 4 goals. The first one was to achieve my dream physique. Slim, thick, flat stomach, visible abs, big butt. That's my dream physique. I'll just give you guys a warning that having an aesthetic based goal is a bit of a sticky one, and especially if you're new in your gym journey and things like that, I would just be careful about having a purely aesthetics based goal. I think it's really important to make sure that you have confidence in the first place in your body, and it is coming from a place of appreciating your body and just wanting to love it more. Second goal was to eat and train well. This is quite like a general goal, but it's quite an important one. It just ensures that everything is coming from a healthy place, that I'm caring for my body at the end of the day, and I just wanted to make sure that I have the routines in place and the habits of eating well and training regularly and moving my body so that I can be the healthiest and happiest version of myself. My third goal, which is the weight goal, here's when I'm going to give specifics. Please, please, please don't compare. Like, so many people on social media don't share these things because it can be a slippery slope and it can be dangerous. I beg you guys, please don't compare yourself and compare your numbers to my numbers. There are so many things that have a part to play in these numbers. The number on the scale is, at the end of the day, just a number on the scale, and like 2 people who are the same weight can look completely different. We are all different heights, we all have different muscle mass, different fat mass. Please, please, please don't compare yourself to me. I'm just giving it as a reference point. So my goal was to get to 55 kg. I am about 5'3". My start weight was just under 60 kg, which is the heaviest I've ever been. My main reason for wanting to lose weight, so 55 kg is a pretty healthy weight for me. 60 kg wasn't unhealthy either, but my main reason for wanting to lose weight was because I'm trying to increase my body weight pull-up reps. My last goal was to get to 8 pull-ups. I'm trying to get to the 10 before the end of this year, hopefully before the end of the middle of this year. So those are my 4 goals. I keep saying this, but I keep saying like I'm doing it just for fun and like how it's a hobby. On social media, you see a lot of people get so wrapped up in how they look, and then they end up getting into unhealthy habits in trying to attain a certain body type or a certain body weight. I'm just really careful of trying not to promote that or encourage that. That's one of the reasons why I want to share more of my journey, because I feel like my approach to it and balancing it with my lifestyle and trying to achieve these in healthy ways is quite rare to see online, and especially as a brown girl. Losing fat in general, I feel like as a brown girl it is more difficult. I want to share more of how I achieve it, because it's possible, and it's possible to do that without making yourself unhappy. I did have a few comments on like my transformation videos on TikTok, and people are asking like, how do you do it without sacrificing all your happiness? And it's true, like a lot of us feel like it is very difficult to do this without, you know, sacrificing our social life or sacrificing our food and our cultural foods and just our culture in general. It's difficult, but I'm very proud to say that I think I've achieved it in a really healthy way, balancing everything, and I feel so much happier. Let me talk about my results and what I achieved, because I am so happy and so healthy in my body. I think I feel the most confident I've ever felt in my body. I mean, I was confident before, and again, that's what I mean. I'm not placing so much emphasis on the way I look on the outside and the number on the scale for my confidence and for my happiness, but it's just an added bonus. It's such a good feeling to set yourself goals and to put in the work and work really hard and then to achieve those goals. That is way more satisfying than just like actually the goals themselves on their own. That's not what's satisfying. It's the fact that I put in all that work and I said I was going to do something and I did it. There's actually not another feeling that matches that. So I actually didn't tick off the first thing on my goals, which was to achieve my dream physique. And I think I probably have a very high standard of what my dream physique is, and I set myself the goal with the awareness that I might never achieve it. And I know that might sound counterintuitive, like what's the point of having a goal if you think that you might not achieve it? That's just how I feel about aesthetic goals, because like the thing about physiques is I'm only gonna look the way my genetics is gonna allow me. So I try not to put too much pressure on achieving my dream physique, because my dream physique might not be anything I've ever seen before. Like, do you know what I mean? I'm not gonna look the same as Annalise Cruz because we have different genes. I'm only gonna look the best I'm gonna look, but regardless, I still think I could do better. I do want more visible abs and grow my legs, grow my butt. I think I've got way more to go. I'm not expecting to achieve that in 6 weeks. I think that is going to take more time, and especially not in a fat loss phase. That's usually not the time to be growing muscle anyways, but I am happier with how I look. Okay, here's the other disclaimer about body fat, which is you cannot choose where you want to lose body fat. I'm sure you've heard that before, and although in this video if I mention belly fat and losing my belly fat, it's really just because I've lost fat everywhere. For me, losing the fat on my belly, it's one of the last places where I lose fat. I just find it harder. It might be my genetic makeup, it might be the way I eat. That's just how I find it has always been. Me losing my belly fat is just a result of me pushing through a fat loss phase until I start to shed that fat, but I'm losing my fat elsewhere as well. The thing about my transformation is I think a lot of girls who look like me and who are from the same background as me have probably also felt the same way that I've always felt. I've always felt like my belly fat's really hard to lose, I might never lose it. Like, is it possible for me to have a flat stomach like all the girls on social media, all these fitness influencers who are a lot of the time not brown, not South Asian, they don't look like me, and they have abs. I've always wondered, is that even possible for me? But I proved myself wrong, and I was able to lose my belly fat, and it's hard work, but it's just 6 weeks of hard work for a very long time that I'm gonna feel much better about myself. And then my second goal, which was to eat and train well, I take this off. I think I did a pretty good job in keeping on top of my diet and making sure I'm eating very healthily and training very, very consistently and feeling good about my training and feeling like I'm progressing. My third goal, which was to get to 55 kg, I did not take this off. My end weight was 55.5 kg, so just a little bit over. Again, like the first one, even though I didn't tick this off and I didn't achieve it, I'm still very, very happy with my results. Not to like sound a bit silly for making a goal and then being okay with not hitting it, I wanted to hit this goal so that I could get my pull-ups, which is my fourth goal, 8 pull-ups, which I got. I'm so, so happy. That was probably the thing that I was most proud of, was getting my 8 pull-ups. I don't think I could have done it if I hadn't lost the weight, so yeah, it was all worth it. I'm so, so happy. I'll insert my 8 pull-ups here. That was a very long intro and a long yap, I'm so sorry. So the first thing was I was in a calorie deficit and eating a high protein diet. I'm not going to go into too much detail into how it works. There is a calculator online, I'll link it down below. I use this online calculator where you basically just put in your age, your height and things like that. It will tell you like an estimate of what your maintenance calories are, which is what you need to be eating to maintain the weight you are. And then it will sort of tell you how much of a deficit to be in if you're trying to lose weight, and then how much more to eat, how much of a surplus to be in if you are trying to gain weight. I was trying to lose about 0.5 to 0.6 kg a week. So my weekly goals was about 9,324 calories, and my daily calories was 1,332. And I was aiming for 110 grams of protein. My diet wasn't just that. I wasn't just eating whatever I could to add up to the amount of calories. I was eating mindfully, I was eating nutritionally and well balanced, so that I was looking after my gut health as well. This is something that I learned when I did my first fat loss phase, which is the difference that your diet and the quality of your diet can make, because yes, calories are just calories at the end of the day, but the nutritional value of each calorie makes a big difference. One of the things that contributed to me having more belly fat, or the appearance of more belly fat, was also like inflammation and bloating. So improving my diet really helped with the bloating and just having a flatter look. The biggest takeaway is I was eating whole foods, so way less processed foods. I was just trying to have a variety of food and a variety of fruit and vegetables wherever I could, and just increasing my fiber and protein. The second thing I did was I had a daily step goal. My daily step goal was 8,000 daily steps. I think for me that sounds like a lot. So on average, if I wasn't trying and if I wasn't paying attention to my steps, I would probably get between 1,000 to 2,000 steps a day. So to go from that to 8,000 is quite a lot. It was pretty achievable. But in the past, the last time I did a fat loss phase, I just had a daily step goal of 5,000, and that worked. It really does depend on what your normal is and what your average is, because if you're going from, say, like less than 1,000 steps a day to like 4,000 steps a day, that would make such a big difference, and that's only like an additional 30-minute walk every single day. But if you're more active and you already have like a very active job, then you might need more. You might need over 10k steps. So it really depends on you. Like I said, don't just be copying my step goal. See what your average is and increase it from there slightly. I do include my cardio in those steps. So like if I was gonna walk on the treadmill, if I'm doing Stairmaster at the gym, whatever steps I get on there, I'm counting it. Like every little counts. If I go on a run, I'm counting those steps. Like if I ran and I ended up getting like 15k steps because it was a long run, I'm in bed for the rest of the day. I'm not out trying to get another 8,000 steps, okay? I'm counting everything and just like making sure I'm consistently hitting my goal every single day throughout the week. I'll be honest, like especially in the beginning, there were like 1 or 2, maybe even 3 days in a week where I didn't hit my goal, and that is okay. If you can, maybe like try and make up for it on another day where you have more time, but 1 or 2 days, it's not gonna hurt at all. Over the 6 weeks, over the long term, just keep going every single day and try your best. The third thing was additional cardio. You're gonna hate me for saying this, but you're gonna need to do more cardio. I have never really done cardio before this throughout my whole fitness journey. I'll go to the gym and just lift my weights, and I love doing that, but cardio has never stuck, and I finally was able to make it stick. The additional cardio that I did was 20 minutes of Stairmaster 4 times a week. So I was going to the gym to lift 4 times a week. Before my sessions, I would do the Stairmaster. There is so much debate and so much science about what's optimal, and if you're trying to lose fat, I think doing cardio after weights is optimal and it's best and whatever. But guess what, if I was doing it after my weights, I don't know if I would have. Like I just find it so difficult to actually make myself do cardio after lifting weights. All my discipline, all my motivation goes out the window. I suddenly don't have any time, blah blah blah. But when I'm doing a fat loss phase like this and when cardio is a priority, I prioritize the cardio. I'd rather do the cardio consistently before my lifts than do it inconsistently after and only do it like 1 or 2 a week. For me, like, it worked, and I feel like it did warm me up and energize me for my lifts. I usually have like a pre-workout or some caffeine before I get to the gym or while I'm on the Stairmaster, so that like gets me going and I don't feel too tired when I'm lifting, and it just works for me because I just don't think I'd be able to do it after. Like it's nearly impossible. On top of the Stairmaster, I was also running 1 to 2 times a week. They'd vary in distance, nothing more than 10k at that time, but between like 30 minutes to over an hour. Those are my variations of a run, and it's usually minimum once a week. If I get the second one in, great, but I don't put too much pressure on myself on that. The fourth thing that I did was strength training, at least 4 times a week, but I actually had an optional 5th day if I had the time and if I felt like it. Mondays, legs, glutes and hamstring focus. My second day was sort of like a calisthenics, upper body and core. And Thursdays I had my second leg day, which is quads and calves focus. On Fridays I have pull, which is back and biceps. And then on Saturdays I have the option of glutes. I'd usually run on the Sunday or the Saturday, and then I can run on Wednesday as well if I wanted to. 1 to 3 days of rest. If I'm counting my runs, sometimes my runs are very easy. They are kind of seen as active recovery for me. I find that giving myself flexibility really helps, rather than having a rigid structure, and then if I don't hit that number of workouts or a week or the number of runs a week, it can be a bit difficult if I have a strict rigid schedule to stick to and I don't stick to it. Week on week my schedule looks different and I have different things going on. I have the flexibility to do that. Last 2 things which just have to be mentioned is sleep. So I made sure that I got at least 8 hours of sleep every single night where possible. Of course I didn't get this every single night. I tried my best to, because it is so important for recovery. The other thing was I was drinking at least 2 litres of water a day. Again, sleep and water, the amount that you need might differ for you. I personally think I need more sleep. I wish I could give myself 9 to 10 hours of sleep, because I've done that before and I just feel great. Your girl has got things to do, so I couldn't do that. And then yeah, 2 litres of water, which is very doable for me. I have like a almost 1 litre bottle. I usually try and get that finished before 12 p.m. If I'm drinking it in the gym, I'll finish like quite a bit of it. Then I fill it up again at 12 p.m. middle of the day, and I literally have that until bedtime to finish it, which is very doable. I think that pretty much covers everything. That is everything I did for 6 weeks to get the transformation that I did. I feel like I've given quite a lot of context and background as to why I went through the phase, what I wanted to achieve, whether I achieved them or not, and how I feel. I've already mentioned at the beginning of this video, what works for you is going to be personal for you, and I'm purely just speaking off of my own experience. I actually don't have a coaching qualification or a nutrition, diet related qualification at all yet. I don't have anything yet, and this is just what's worked for me and like what I've done with myself. I would say be patient with yourself. For me, I was able to see results after 6 weeks, but it might take longer. It is a difficult process. It requires a lot of discipline, a lot of motivation, hard work. And even though I've gone through in detail in this video, I haven't actually spoken about how I was able to achieve this in particular as a brown girl, because I feel like we do face specific challenges, either because of our genetics, which I've kind of touched on, but also because of our culture. And I feel like I was able to find the right balance between that and doing the hard work in order to achieve my result. I think sticking to a calorie deficit and tracking your calories every single day and tracking your macros or your protein can be very difficult if you're South Asian. Again, only speaking from my experience, but I find it very difficult. Like, how am I going to go home and eat my mum's biryani or eat her torsa or eat her whatever delicious food she's made, and how am I going to know how much protein's in it or how many calories is in it? At the same time, I'm not going to cut all that out. I'm still going to eat the food I love. For me also, I love food, and that can make sticking to a diet really difficult, but I was able to do it. Like, I stuck to a calorie deficit, I stuck to a really healthy, whole foods, mindful diet, and I achieved my results. And I didn't feel like I was restricting myself, and I didn't feel like I was cutting something out, and I didn't feel like I was making myself unhappy and I was missing out on things. And like, even with the training and stuff, like, I didn't feel like I was missing out on my social life and I was sacrificing really important things. I found such a good balance, and yes, some of it will be hard in the moment, and like, I did have to do things that I probably wouldn't want to do, but it was only for 6 weeks and it was well worth it. And if you guys want more of a chat, more of a video going in depth about like the particular struggles I think I faced, and particularly being South Asian, how I dealt with it and how I find balance in my fitness and lifestyle and diet, then let me know. But yeah, thank you for watching and good luck with everything. You've got this. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.